have. In terms of our weather, thankfully, we're not dealing with anything crazy enough to need a weather radio or any alerts going off right now. We've had a couple of showers pop up and dissipate pretty quickly off of the radar today. Temperatures, again, in the low 90s. It's been hot and humid with a couple of those showers as the sea breeze makes its way inland. And that's pretty much what we're dealing with for the next couple of days and to end our weekend. Across the U.S., there is a lot of activity going on, especially the eastern half of the U.S. And you can see lots of heat advisories and excessive heat or extreme heat warnings. They used to be called excessive heat warnings into the northwest. But what we're focusing on is this high pressure over the Gulf. So that is going to be moving over us here not too long from now. But first, let's pick this up and watch. I'm going to add energy on top of the upper level forecast here. That's all the reds and yellows. This high pressure, it's going to very slowly move into the southeastern U.S. And in that time, it's going to continue to send lots of heat and humidity into South Texas. But at the same time, watch this little piece of energy right here. I circled it with the little rotating arrows. This is a piece of energy that the National Hurricane Center is going to be watching. As this high pressure moves up into the southeast, it's going to be rotating down here into the Gulf. At the same time, again, weather, it's all interconnected. So this same high pressure is still sending us hot air, but also going to be sending us Saharan dust at that point. There's a plume working through the eastern Gulf at this point and heading into next week. Thinking middle of the week is when we're going to see the bulk of it, but it very slowly starts to come into the coastal bend heading into Monday afternoon and Tuesday, and then by Wednesday and Thursday we're seeing a lot of that dust here in the coastal bend. So we're going to see those hazier skies and such. Now this piece of energy, as that high pressure stays in the southeast, is going to very slowly move into the northeastern Gulf. So this is something, I'll pull up the National Hurricane Center map here in just a second if you're wondering where that is. This is an area where there are pretty warm sea surface temperatures and generally favorable conditions for development. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. But for us here in the coastal bend, we're just getting hot and we have that Saharan dust continuing to stick with us, especially as we see these high pressures move over to Texas heading into later next week. So I mentioned earlier those afternoon high temperatures climbing up into the mid and upper 90s. This is why we've got those high pressures moving over and expanding and getting stronger. At the same time, that little piece of energy sliding right underneath them somewhere potentially into the central Gulf. So the timing, the placement, that all still needs to be worked out. Those details not just yet set in stone, but it does look like a pretty decent rainmaker for the central and eastern Gulf Coast. So for us, we're not really expecting too much in terms of rain chances. Here's that plume of Saharan dust that we're going to be seeing later this week. In that area of interest, the Hurricane Center is monitoring. At this point, just a low chance of development. And again, chance of development means into a tropical depression or greater. It doesn't mean into a named system. I also mentioned that this area has some of the warmest sea surface temperatures in the Gulf. So that combined with minimal wind shear until later next week, that's why the Hurricane Center is keeping their eye on this. But for now, it's something for us to just calmly watch, not worry about, and we'll see what happens with it. Temperatures tomorrow, 94 in Corpus Christi. Going to feel about 10 degrees hotter though, thanks to the humidity. Heading into Wednesday and Thursday, that's when we're really going to start to notice the Saharan dust in our skies. But at the same time, at least we're going to have a lot of sunshine here.